All right. So, how you doing? Good evening. Lovely evening. Crisp fall evening, which is good. It's October 25th. Now, I was not. I was not going to do this video at all. Was not going to, but somebody asked if I was going to overlook at some of the key matchups and point out some of the key matchups in the playoffs for the first round for 2017 IHSA football playoffs. So here it is. I'm going to scroll down, go through some games that you might want to take a look at. But this is my personal feeling. I think all of these playoff games are very, very interesting. I don't see, again, like I said, there's too much parity in IHSA football right now where you can't really say, oh, that's a favorite right there. I think after the first game you can say that, but not after the first game. This is literally like a a toe going into the pool to test out the water. So that's what basically the first round of IHSA playoffs to me is. So let's begin. All right, so we got Juliet West at Lincoln Way East. Um, Got to give it to Lincoln Way East. St. Charles East versus Oswego East. That's a great game in the 8A playoffs. Um, Oswego Naperville North. That's a huge game. I really do like that game. Um, West Aurora versus Naperville Central is another game to look out for. Warren Township at Bolingbrook is a great game too. Edwardsville at Huntley is a great game. Palatine at South Elgin is a good game in the 8A. Uh, hmm, looking down. New Trier versus Loyola Academy is good. My big game that people might not think is a big game is Stevenson versus Hinsdale Central. I think it's a great game. I think it's a game of the the Glenbard West family coaching tree going against that typical run and shoot coaching tree of many different coaches, all going back to Moskowitz and Tiger Ellison of the run and shoot. So it's going to be a very interesting game between Lincolnshire Stevenson versus Hinsdale Central. I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be. I think out of 8A, there's maybe two or three games. Okay, but the 8A's got a solid lineup. So let's go to the 7A. Okay, all right. So in 7A, uh, Hanahu versus Harlem. I got Hanahu no matter what. My game, deepest football game of the week, Maine West versus Bennett Academy, is going to be a great game. Maine West, first time in the playoffs since 2002. Hersey versus Rolling Meadows is another game to look out for. Lincoln Way Central, I think they're going to win out of it. Glenbar North versus Batavia is a very interesting game. One of the games that I have as a spotlight. Uh, Downers Grove North versus Normal. That might be a very good game. Libertyville at East St. Louis, another good game. I've got to favor East St. Louis, of course. Buffalo Grove versus Belleville West is a great test for Buffalo Grove. Plainfield North versus Andrews, a great game. That's a huge game. Huge game in the 7A conference. A great test for Andrew. Had a great, unbelievable season this season, and you're going against Plainfield North, uh, the final state final second place from last year. So it's going to be a great game. St. Charles North versus Highland Park is a great test for St. Charles North. Simeon versus St. Rita, good game. Schaumburg at Lake Zurich is a huge test for Lake Zurich. And I have a lot of faith in Lake Zurich in that division. Let's go down. All right, 6A. 6A. Okay, so for 6A, Prairie Ridge, Crystal Lake Central, huge rivalry game. But I have to go with Prairie Ridge, not going to lie about that. Montini versus DeKalb, good game. Deerfield at Willowbrook is another great game. Cary Grove versus St. Ignatius. I'm going to have to give that a little bit to Cary Grove. Hoffman Estates versus De La Salle, another game. Lake Forest at Riverside Brookfield, huge game for Riverside Brookfield. If Riverside Brookfield wins this game, that's a huge a building block for the Riverside Brookfield team. Grays Lake North, huge thing for Coach Baker. First IHSA playoff, Minnesota boy. Um, Hinsdale South Creekmoney is a great game. I have a lot of faith in Creekmoney. A lot of people aren't paying attention to Creekmoney, but they are going to. Quincy versus St. Lawrence is a good game. Darrell Brock, I think Quincy's going to shock some people. Richards versus Providence Catholic, another good game. Nah. Nazareth Academy at Springfield is a deepest football game of the week, overtime. That's going to be a good game, and I know people are going to laugh, but don't count out those boys from Springfield. Don't count them out, honestly. And there's a lot of teams in that area that a lot of people are overshadowing in the 6A, 4A, 3A brackets, and they're going to upset some people. That's my personal belief from that Springfield area. Okay, let's go down to 5A then. Phillips. Well, what more can I say about Phillips? They're unbelievable. Woodstock North at Lamont's actually sort of a good game. I think it's Schroeder of Woodstock North returns to the old Suburban Prairie Conference days of playing Lamont when he was coaching at Westmont. That's going to be a good game. Kaneland at Lindenblum is a good game. I think Lindenblum can do something. Sterling 5A good. Rich Central versus Marion's another good game. Shooter versus Dunlap, I got Dunlap. Dunlap's going to be a huge, huge team. Troy Triad, watch out for that game against Peoria. It's a game that you want to keep a close eye on the first racket. Peoria Notre Dame versus Decatur MacArthur. That's another good game down south. Tinley Park at Washington, good game. Centralia at Morton, keep an eye out for Centralia. Like I said, keep an eye out for Centralia. Coach Brenison's got his team doing some good and seriously damaging things at that offense. Okay. So let's go to 4A. Rochester. That's all I'm going to say. All right, Johnsburg, number 1. That's no doubt. Morris, one of my top guys, going against Quinoa. Dixon, Geneseo. It's another game. Quincy Notre Dame versus Highland. That's a huge game. A lot of people have a lot of money on Highland High School. They have a lot of faith in Highland High School, and I've looked at a few of their game films, and I got to say they are right. Highland's the real deal. Herscher is another game to keep a close eye out for. Herscher versus at Columbia. No, Columbia at Herscher. Effingham at Mantino is one of the games that I keep spotlighting for you guys. I'm going to say this right now. A dark horse is going to come out of that game. Watch out. I'm just saying that. I'm preaching that right now. Watch out for that game. Herscher versus Mantino versus Effingham. Watch out for that game. Watch out for it. Also, watch out for Heron. Heron versus Paris this first week. Another team to look out for. And Eltoff Catholic, of course, you got to look out for Eltoff Catholic in 4A thing. Let's go down to 3A. All right, 3A. Hull versus Williamsville is a little bit interesting. There's really in a 3A conference, there's a lot of teams that I see that I don't think there's going to be a lot of upsets in a 3A bracket, basically. Yeah, I just don't see it. Anna Jonesboro versus Hillsboro might be a good game to look at. For Cesarville versus Greensville is another game to look at. Monticello versus North Boone. Keep a good lookout for that game. But again, it's one of those brackets. Just one of those brackets. All right, let's go down to 2A. Sterling Newman versus Rural Christian. That's a hell of a game. Huge game for Rural Christian. Let's see what else. Carmel White versus Bismarck Henning. Good game. Huge game for Bismarck Henning. Shelbyville versus Villa Grove is a good game too. And that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. Keep an eye out for Shelbyville though. And like I said, Royal Christian number 16 seed is a blessing for them. They're gonna They're going to shock some people. Okay. 1A football. Let's get down to 1A for football. I got Forreston. I think that's going to be a great matchup. I think Forreston gets to flex their muscles against Southfork. Fulton versus Ottawa Marquette, another muscle flexor. And I think a key game, where is it? Decatur Lutheran versus I'm sorry if I get this wrong. I'm plugging it wrong. Decatur Lutheran versus Toledo is a game to look out for, and Athens versus Warrensburg is another game to look out for too in the 1A bracket. Dakota versus Princeville is another game. If Dakota wins that game, that's the team that I'm telling you right now. Look out for. Coach Free, I think it's the name Free, of Dakota, and those Dakota Indians. Watch out. And NIU and NUIC is heavily represented in the 1A and 2A brackets. Heavily represented. And that speaks volumes to that conference. That's all I'm going to say. So keep it here, deepdishfootball.com. Follow Coach Big Pete, Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. This is the first round of brackets of games to look out for. I'll probably do one next week as I had a couple. And one person asked for it and a second person, so here it is. Remember, Deep Dish Football Live tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Thursday at 8 p.m. and Breakfast with Coach Big Pete is moved to Sunday at 10 a.m. Sunday at 10 a.m. Breakfast with Coach Big Pete. Talk football and everything else. If you like my work, please feel free to leave a tip donation on deepdishfootball.com on a tips and donations little segment thing via PayPal. Also, still looking for advertisers and sponsors. If you are interested, please send me an email, coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. And good luck for round one, IHSA Playoffs 2017. It's going to be fun. Can't wait. Maine West versus Benedict Camu Friday night. And then Saturday, Nazareth versus Springfield. I will be at there both. And I'm going to make a stop by at Hinsdale Central versus Stevenson later that day. So it should be a fun time. This is Coach Big Pete, a.k.a. Peter Lineweber of DeepDishFootball.com. Have a lovely night.